Hello students, we will start with module 1. The first topic is uh, economic growth and development, the concepts and measurements. What is economic growth? Very simply put, it is described as an increase in the size of the national income of the economy. Remember, for this purpose, we can use any of the national income concepts that you must have learned in your macroeconomics course, GDP, GNP, GNI, and so on. In other words, it is the increase in the size of the total output of goods and services produced in a country. If we look back into economic history, we can see two major incidents which led to a jump in economic growth. The first is Industrial Revolution experienced in the 19th century England. It led to an unprecedented rise in the size of the national output. The second one is the Internet Revolution of the 20th century, which helped countries like US and the other developed countries grow very rapidly. So the main measures of economic growth are the national income levels. Again, you can use any of the concepts of national income, GDP, GNP, GNI, or gross national income. The growth rate of national income. So how fast are you growing? How fast is the size of the economy's output growing is also a measure of economic growth. And per capita income is another important measure of economic growth. Suppose we have two countries, A and B, with the same GDP of 1,000 units. But country A has a population of 500, country B has a population of 1,000. Which one will be richer? It will be country A because it has a higher per capita income. A total GDP of 1,000 units is being divided among only 500 people. Country B is relatively poorer because the same GDP of 1,000 units is being divided or distributed among 1,000 people. Right? So per capita income is another important measure of economic growth, where we are also taking into consideration the total population among which a given national income is being divided. Next, we come to the second important concept, which is economic development. It is not just economic growth, it is growth plus qualitative change. So we are not talking about only an increase in the size of output of an economy, but it should be accompanied by an improvement in the social system, improvement in the institutional infrastructure, improvement in the general quality of life of the people of that economy. So when will India experience development? Or how can we say that India has experienced development? It is not just because of a growth in GDP, but accompanying the growth of GDP, we have a better distribution of the fruits of this growth. We have lesser inequality, so the advantages of increasing output has been divided equally among the people. There is an economic as well as social upliftment of the people. Older institutional systems like the caste system have been removed. When better facilities like healthcare and better access to drinking water is available to the people. Such qualitative changes, when they accompany economic growth, we can term it as economic development. In fact, Gunnar Myrdal actually terms it as an upward movement of an entire social system, along with an increase in output of the economy. Many people say that economic growth may be possible without development, but generally economic development cannot happen without economic growth. Um, let's move on to some commonly used and commonly mentioned measures of economic development. Remember, we are talking about not just increasing the size of the economy, but also an improvement in the quality of life in that economy. So the first measure is the PQLI, Physical Quality Life Index, introduced by Augustine Wallace. Again, the quality of life is being measured along the dimensions of longevity and literacy. So we have infant mortality rate, the first component of PQLI. Life expectancy at age 1 is the second component, and basic literacy at the literacy rate at age 15 is the third component of physical quality life index. Another well-known index of is the Human Development Index. Mahbub ul Haq, famous Pakistani economist, was the one who came up with the or invented this index. It was first calculated and published in the 1990 report of UNDP, Human Development Report. Mahbub ul Haq, Amartya Sen, Meghna Desai, Paul Streeton, and few other famous and well-known development economists were part of it. The HDI has two versions. Till 2010, we considered one form of calculation. After that, it has been revamped. So till 2010, our main three dimensions remain the same. They are called longevity, knowledge, and standard of living. These are the three dimensions along which we are measuring the Human Development Index. So we create an index for each of these dimensions and we take an arithmetic average. The indicator for longevity is life expectancy at birth. For knowledge, it was a combined index. 2/3 weightage was given to adult literacy, 1/3 weightage given to primary, secondary, and tertiary gross enrollment ratio. And standard of living, the main indicator for this dimension was per capita GNP at purchasing power parity in US dollars. This is the older version. After 2000, we have the newer version. The dimensions have been slightly differently expressed. The three main dimensions along which the Human Development Index is now calculated are a long and healthy life, education, and decent standard of living. Long and healthy life, the indicator is life expectancy at birth. For education, it's again a combined index of mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling. And decent standard of living is measured in terms of per capita gross national income at PPP in US dollars. Now we are converting it to purchasing power parity US dollars so that when you are calculating Human Development Index across a set of countries, it has to be in common measure. So PPP USD is the measure or the units in which we are using the per capita gross national income concept. The method of calculation has changed a little bit. The new HDI, rather than taking an arithmetic average, it takes a geometric mean of the three sub-indices. I hope that is clear. If there is any confusion, you can just search it online and you will get this very simply. It's available. Even on Wikipedia, it is available. Right? Any doubts, you can always ask me. These are standard short questions that are coming for your exams. Okay. Finally, Human Poverty Index. It is just the opposite of Human Development Index. In Human Poverty Index, we are measuring deprivation along the same dimensions as the HDI. We have two versions of the Human Poverty Index, separately calculated for developing countries and separately calculated for the OECD countries. In the case of developing countries, we are looking at deprivation along, like I said earlier, long and healthy life. This is measured by probability at birth of not surviving till the age of 40. Deprivation along the dimension of education is measured by the adult illiteracy rate, and deprivation along the dimension of decent standard of living is again a combined index. It's an arithmetic error of percentage of population without access to safe drinking water, percentage of population without access to health services, and percentage of children under 5 who are malnourished. Right? So that would be an index of deprivation along decent standard of living. HPR2, Human Poverty Index for OECD countries. Uh, it includes deprivation along a fourth dimension, which is social exclusion. So, for long and healthy life, the deprivation is measured as probability at birth of not surviving to age 60. Remember, OECD countries, better facilities, higher development, so they have higher life expectancies. So the basic minimum or deprivation also shall be measured if you are not able to live till a higher age. Similarly, for education, the deprivation is measured as adults lacking functional literacy skills. Decent standard of living, deprivation along this dimension will be measured by the population below the income poverty line. And in terms of to measure social exclusion, we are using rate of long-term unemployment. Okay, so there are two human poverty indices, different for developing countries, different for OECD countries. Again, the method of calculation, if you want the exact formula, it is all easily available online. Even a Wikipedia page will tell you the same. Right? So, for the time being, I'm going to stop here. I will get back to you with a different slideshow and a little bit of additional information and topics. Thank you.